I wanted to go on record to say that this might be the hottest I've ever looked and will ever look in my lifetime. And I'm making this video so that in thousands of years, there will be evidence. Is it the dress? It could be the dress. Is it the makeup? Or is it the hair? Because I think it's the extensions. And when I have extensions in, I don't know my name. I don't know where I live. I just know that I love these. And I know that I look like I could steal a husband, but I want to promise you, look me in the eyes. I want to promise you that I would never do that to you.
Well, Dylan Mulvaney is correct about one thing. There will, in fact, in 1,000 years, be evidence because of videos like this, evidence of why Western civilization failed, because we have denigrated man to the point of abolition. Why would you want to be a man?
I wanted to.
Now, let me say this. Candace Owens. First, let me say this. Candace Owens, I don't really rock with Candace Owens, especially on political views. I think her political views are atrocious, to say the least. However, her family views are spot on. Okay, when she talks family, I am finding myself agreeing with her a lot, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who are just like me. When it comes to politics, she's atrocious, but when it comes to family and the core household and the nuclear families, she is 1,000%. Well, she's 100%. Well, she's a high percentage of right. So when she starts talking about things like this, I find myself agreeing with her a lot. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are like me. Now, this guy named Dylan Mulvaney, yes, obviously, for those who are confused, he is a guy. And he transformed himself into a woman. Now, you could say he's transsexual, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay. But Candace makes a good point as to say, why would you want to be a man? Being a man is turning into obsolation, or obsolescence. It's becoming obsolete, really, in a lot of ways, especially in the West. And the reason why is becoming that way is because there is little to no benefit of being a man in Western culture. Now, I look at who runs Western culture, and I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm not going to point any fingers. I'm going to just tell you to yourself, think about who runs Western culture, and then it will explain to you why things are turning out the way that they are. Now, it reminds me of a person who was a athlete formerly known as Bruce Jenner. Okay, Bruce Jenner was a triathlete. He was in the Olympics, and he was a very hardcore, seemingly manly type of guy, until he married a woman named Chris. Okay, and when he got engulfed into that family, this guy firsthand seen the benefits of being a woman. I mean, he's seen it more than anybody, the benefits of being a woman. The female privilege was drenched in this family. Female privilege was just, I mean, he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. And he was front line. The Kardashian family really, they're really, I guess you could say, made famous probably more than anybody, female privilege. I mean, you got billionaires in this family strictly off of female privilege. Okay? And he was on the front line seeing this happen. The Kardashians, they're sort of like y'all remember that movie Can't or Get Out? Chris Jenner was like that lady stirring the teacup. I mean, for whatever reason, they have they and look, listen, I can't knock the hustle. They monetize their female privilege about as much as you, well, sort of as much as you possibly can without having any talent. Okay, you can do it more than that if you actually got talent, but they've done it as much as you can do without any talent. Okay, they've peaked out. And Bruce was he's seen this happening day in and day out, to the point where I think he came to the conclusion of, why not just be a woman? Why not just be a woman? And he transformed himself. Now, listen, I'm not claiming that this is what happened. I'm claiming that if this happened, I can see it happening this way. I'm not making any claims. I'm not making any assumptions. I'm saying if it happened this way, I can see it happening this way. Him saying, look, being a man sucks. Even if I'm rich and I'm famous, it's not better than what the women in this family are experiencing. It's not better. I can't move like them because I'm a man. So I want all of the privileges that come with female privilege. I want to experience that. So he transformed himself into a woman. You know, Caitlyn Jenner. Okay? And this is a trend that's happening in America, in the West, with men saying, look, it's too hard to be a man. You don't get recognized. You have all of the obligation. You have all of the responsibilities. You have little to no appreciation. Why would I take this deal of being a man? Let me take the deal of being a woman, being able to say and think whatever I want, me getting a lot of female privilege, me getting an exorbitant amount of attention, me getting people not having to expect much from me. Okay, I don't have the responsibilities a man would have. I don't have the obligations a man would have. Why don't I just switch the game up a little bit and become a woman? I could, look, I would never do that, for the record. Okay, no matter, even if I was in the Kardashian family, my mind would never go there. But I can understand how men are logically coming to these conclusions, because in the West, it is a heavy burden to be a man, and it's for the most part smooth sailing to be a woman. Now, some women might disagree with this because they say, hey, it's not easy being a woman. I get that. But compared to what is expected of you and what is expected of a man, a lot of men would argue it's easier to be a woman. Now, there may be some things about being a woman that is hard, and I get that. But even Candace herself said, why would anyone want to be a man? Because it's too heavy of a burden to be a man in a society that only recognize you for your utility. They only recognize you for what can you do for me? That's the only thing men are recognized for. Okay? And for women, they don't have that burden. A lot of men have asked women, what do you bring to the table? And a lot of women can't answer that question because they don't feel like they have to bring anything into a relationship. The most popular answer women give is, I bring me. That's good enough. That shows female privilege. When a date happens, a man has to prove himself. He has to take her out. He has to spend a large amount of money. When a man gets engaged to a woman, he has to spend a large amount of money for the ring and things like that. Men always have to prove themselves. Women don't have to prove themselves. They have intrinsic value just being a woman in the West. So you have this trend of men trying to, you either have two options. You either go out of the country and find a more traditional wife, or you flip the game around and you turn into a woman. Okay, I would choose the overseas over turning into a woman like a lot of men would do, but both of them, you're trying to get something that is to your advantage in this game of life, because in the West, there is no advantage to being a man. There is no advantage. I know a lot of women may disagree with that, but if you put them side by side, you will see that the women have way more advantages than the men. So for that reason, I would agree with Candace, especially when it comes to family matters. I agree with Candace a lot. Let me know what y'all think. Put it in the comments. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. Okay, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.
Well, Dylan Mulvaney is correct about one thing. There will, in fact, in 1,000 years, be evidence because of videos like this, evidence of why Western civilization failed, because we have denigrated man to the point of abolition. Why would you want to be a man?